Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode on Pious Football, where I bring you the latest transfer news. We also talk about tactical analysis of games, and also we discuss pertinent issues around football that you don't hear on mainstream European media. Now, my first story for today is at the camp of Tottenham Hotspur. Remember, I told you yesterday in my episode that Bayern Munich had submitted a world record 100 million euros bid for Harry Kane. That is somewhere around 85 million pounds. Now, they put in an ultimatum for Tottenham Hotspur that they want an answer in 24 hours. That is quite ominous from Bayern to actually kind of put pressure on Tottenham to give up their star striker. Now, we know that Daniel Levy is a very tough negotiator. He was unwilling to sell Harry Kane, but rumors are that his boss, Joe Lewis, actually put pressure on him to sell Harry Kane before he goes for free next year. So kind of unwilling to sell Harry Kane, but has to sell Harry Kane. And now Bayern Munich bid 100 million euros for Harry Kane, which is below the evaluation that Daniel Levy wants to sell Harry Kane. I mean, he's always wanted somewhere around 100 million pounds, which translates into 120 million euros. So, 20 million euros less in valuation, according to Daniel Levy. And what actually also would probably upset Daniel Levy was the fact that Bayern Munich put in a 24-hour response clause in the bid that they offered to Tottenham Hotspur. They demand that Harry Kane, Daniel Levy will respond to the Harry Kane bid in 24 hours, which we've never really heard of something like this ever, in football. And the news coming in from this morning was that the boss of Tottenham, Daniel Levy, has departed to the US, where his family is on vacation. Now, the 24 hours has elapsed. As we are speaking now, Tottenham Hotspur are playing Shakhtar Donetsk in a preseason friendly. Harry Kane is in the lineup. He's playing and he's captaining the team. So, it means that Daniel Levy called the bluff of Bayern, and he's not, going to play by their rules. He set the tempo. Bayern Munich tried to force his hand to sell, but Daniel Levy is, having none of that, and he has left England on a family vacation. Now, the news is that he's only visiting them, that he will come back to London and continue negotiations. But Tottenham Hotspur officially have not responded to the bid that Bayern made. So let's see what will happen with that bid. The 24 hours has elapsed that Bayern give Tottenham to respond to that bid. So I don't know if Bayern Munich will move on to other targets. I'm not sure they will do that. But which is why I don't understand why they had to give Daniel Levy an ultimatum to respond, because it's not as if they have a plan B. So let's see what will happen to that bid and what becomes of Harry Kane's move to Bayern Munich. Stories will definitely be coming here on Pious Football, where you get the latest updates on the moves of players across Europe. Also, at the camp of Manchester City, you remember I told you in my earlier episode that Barcelona are looking to sign Bernardo Silva, but unfortunately for them, they don't have the money. City always wanted 60 million euros, somewhere around 50 million pounds. Unfortunately for Barca, they don't have that kind of money. Probably they should. My thinking was that they would initially offer to take him on loan and then obligation to buy next year, but currently they are not in a position financially to make that offer. Pep Guardiola was a bit, angry with the way Barcelona were approaching the move. You remember, Bernardo Silva is also a target for PSG, but he has come out this morning to say that he is not going to sell Bernardo Silva. Previously, he was open to the idea of selling Bernardo Silva, but he has not been happy with the way the approach from Barcelona has been going. He got angry in his press conference on Friday afternoon and said that Barcelona, if they want to buy the player, they should fly to England and have a negotiation with Tigre Bekistan, who is the technical director of Manchester City. But as of now, no response. but the player is also angling for a move to Barcelona. Remember, after winning the treble with City, he feels that he wants to join a new project and experience the La Liga. But currently, Barca are not in a position financially to make an offer for Bernardo Silva, and Pep Guardiola feels that they are unsettling his player. And the new season is coming up. They'll be playing in the Community Shield with Arsenal very soon, so he wants his team to be set and done, his transfers to be done immediately, and every departing player must be, the decision on departing players must be decided very soon. He doesn't sorry. He doesn't see the end in sight for Bernardo Silva leaving to Barca or PSG, so he has put an authoritative stamp on that transfer and said that City are not going to sell Bernardo Silva to any club, issuing a warning to both Barca and PSG. So Bernardo Silva, according to Pep Guardiola and Man City, is staying at the club. Also at the camp of Sporting Lisbon, very interesting story here, that Sporting Lisbon have dedicated their third kit to the memory of Cristiano Ronaldo, to sort of celebrate him, to celebrate his achievements in football, which is quite interesting. It has never happened in football that a club are dedicating their third kit to celebrate a former player, and that is how Ronaldo, the name CR7, has sort of reach the heights of footballing world. And Ronaldo, I'm sure, will be very excited by that beautiful jersey, third kit dedicated to the memory of Cristiano Ronaldo and his achievement, to celebrate his achievements in football. Remember, Ronaldo came out from the Sporting Lisbon Academy and joined Manchester United in 2000 and 2003 when he was 18 years old. So I mean, he's been tremendous for football. He's still the leading goal scorer in international men's football. Many achievements for Ronaldo over the years, and Sporting Lisbon want to dedicate this third kit to him to celebrate his achievements in football. So I mean, great move there by Sporting Lisbon, and I'm sure Ronaldo would be proud. Also in the camp of Saudi Pro League continues to take players away from Europe. I mean, people are complaining about this, but I'm not sure that it's a bad thing. A lot of the clubs in Europe are struggling financially, so a lot of the players that are leaving are players that most of the European clubs don't really want, and they would probably be better off taking money and letting them go rather than letting them stay and going out on for free. And one of those players is Zelensky of Napoli. He has just 1 year remaining on his contract. He has no intention of renewing his contract, and Al Ahly are trying to sign the player. They have made an offer for Zelensky. They are made their verbal offer for Zelensky. No official bid from Al Ahly of Saudi Arabia just yet. Napoli currently don't really want to sell. They are trying to renew the player's contract. The player has turned down 2 contracts from Napoli already. So I mean, it remains to be seen whether Zelensky himself will be interested in going to Saudi Arabia, but negotiations between the two clubs continue. It is thought that Al Ahly will not waste time trying to sign Zelensky. If they feel that Napoli are not willing to sell, they will move on to other targets. Also at the camp of Chelsea, a lot of movement around Chelsea this afternoon. Chelsea currently are trying to sign Moises Caicedo. As I said in my previous episode, the negotiations are still ongoing, but they are trying to look for other midfield targets. Now, one of those targets is Tyler Adams, the American-born international who plays for Leeds United. Remember, Leeds United went on relegation last season. Now, they have identified that Tyler Adams has a £20 million release clause inserted in there in case Leeds United go on relegation. So it's sort of a relegation clause, and Chelsea are trying to see if they can trigger that relegation clause of £20 million and have Tyler Adams join the midfield department of Chelsea. The player himself is keen to play for Chelsea, so let's see how that move will materialize. Also, at the camp of Chelsea, we know that Cesare Casadei, the Italian wonder kid who played for the under 20s in the World Cup in Argentina recently. Chelsea want to loan him out. They feel that they don't have enough space for him currently in the team. They feel that he will develop better if he goes on loan. And mind you, the Italian national team coach is monitoring his development closely because he's a future jewel for Italian football. So Casadei right there. Chelsea planning to send him on loan to Leicester City, I am told. I mean, remember, Leicester City are relegated, playing in the championship. So let's see if that move will materialize. Also at the camp of Chelsea, they are also trying to loan one of their wonder kids, Angelo Gabriel, the Brazilian midfielder, very talented player. He did very well in preseason, but Chelsea feel, again, that Angelo Gabriel will develop properly when he's sent out on loan. So, I mean, Angelo Gabriel is currently being propped up to see if he can go on loan to Strasbourg. Remember, Strasbourg is a team that is co-owned by Todd Bowley in France. And I don't know if this movement of players from Chelsea to Strasbourg, this arrangement that Chelsea and Strasbourg have, is going to be legal in the long term. I'm sure FIFA will probably have to have a look at how the arrangements of these things are done, because how can you buy a player? You buy a player and then you turn him on loan to another club that you own in another country. I mean, the complications that come with what Chelsea is doing. I'm sure FIFA and UEFA will have a look at some of these things and see whether it's actually legal. Another player that Chelsea is trying to sign is David Washington. Now, David Washington is a Brazilian striker, 18 years old, plays for Santos. Now, Chelsea are part of their development plan of buying young talents across the globe and sending them on loan to Strasbourg. Like I said, let's see if this kind of transfer is going to be scrutinized by UEFA and FIFA. Now, David Washington is going to be sold to Chelsea for 50 million euros plus 3 million euros in add-ons. The deal is almost done. The player has agreed personal terms, and very soon David Washington will join Chelsea, do his medicals, and then be sent out on loan to Strasbourg next season. So yeah, that is another move there by Chelsea in the market. They've been very busy than most clubs. They've signed almost 8 players this season. So let's see if their development plan for the future is going to hold out. Also at the camp of Barcelona, remember that they are trying to get a replacement for departing Ousmane Dembele. One of the things that they are considering is that the player that they just bought from Atletico Paranaense in Brazil, Victor Roque, the wonder kid, 18-year-old wonder kid, they are planning to see if he can be incorporated into the team. It was a consideration at Barca because they don't have money now. So if you have a player who is currently playing in Brazil, you can bring him in and make him a replacement for Dembele. But Paranaense currently have blocked that move. They are playing in the Copa Libertadores, which is like kind of the Champions League in South America. They are kind of they didn't do well. I think they lost in their first leg against a Colombian team. So they are trying to make sure that they qualify to the next round of the Copa Libertadores, and Victor Roque is key if they are going to qualify. And mind you that Atletico Paranaense are celebrating their centurion this year. The club was founded in 1924, so they will be 100 years this year. So they want to do well, probably win the Libertadores. So they want to keep Victor Roque in Brazil until December, where the season comes to an end, and then he can move to Barca in January. So currently Victor Roque is not going to be allowed to leave. Mind you, it was part of the contract that you can buy Victor Roque and keep him in Brazil until the end of their season, which is in December. So fingers crossed. I'm sure that Barca will have to look elsewhere if they are looking to replace Ousmane Dembele. Also at the camp of PSG, now the interesting news coming up this afternoon is that PSG, with all their rambling and all their complaints about Mbappe, decided to offer him a new contract. Now, the interesting new contract that he offered him was that Mbappe should sign a 1-year extension, which will keep him to 2024, and then put in a buyout clause, an attainable, easy to pay buyout clause, somewhere around 100 million euros, so that Real Madrid would have to pay that money if they want to buy Mbappe next year. Mbappe has outrightly rejected that contract renewal. PSG are trying everything they can to make sure they don't lose Mbappe for free. But Mbappe, like I said on Pious Football, that we are not going to waste time talking about Mbappe going to any other team this year. Mbappe has decided to stay at PSG and leave for free next year to Real Madrid. So that is just about it. A contract renewal offer from PSG has been turned down by Kylian Mbappe. Also at the camp of Arsenal, remember Arsenal are in negotiations with Brentford to try and sign the goalkeeper David Raya. In that respect, I mean, they are currently in the final stages of negotiations, which means that they are very positive that David Raya will become an Arsenal player. In that regard, they are willing to let their second goalkeeper, Martena, go to Nottingham Forest. Remember, Nottingham Forest have been in the market trying to sign a goalkeeper. They were looking at Dean Henderson from Manchester United, but some injury issues related to the player are sort of delaying that move. So they focus their attention on Martena, and they've brought in Martena. It's a done deal. Martena to Nottingham Forest is a done deal. Arsenal have let go of their number 2, and in anticipation for a deal for David Raya very soon from Brentford. So news there from Arsenal. Also at the camp of Arsenal, Inter Milan have gone back to negotiations table with Arsenal to try and sign Florent Balogun. Remember, I told you that Inter Milan were looking at Balogun, but they felt he was too expensive, so they turned their attention to Gianluca Scamacca of West Ham. Unfortunately for them, that move wasn't able to go through for them. Atlanta hijacked that move and quickly paid the 30 million euros that West Ham were looking for, and took Scamacca from the noses of Inter Milan. Mind you, Atlanta lost Rasmus Højlund to United, so they are trying to replace him. So immediately they got the money from United. They invested part of that in 30 million euros to West Ham for Gianluca Scamacca. So now Inter Milan are back again to Arsenal to try and see if they can crash out a deal for Florent Balogun. Now currently the player is valued around 47 million pounds. 47 million pounds. Now Inter Milan are trying to offer 26 million pounds. So you can see there is a huge gap in valuation for the player. So I mean, Inter Milan will probably have to get closer to that deal. Now Gabriel Jesus of Arsenal is injured. He will not start the season. So I mean, Arteta would have to deal with the issue of Balogun, whether he should stay or leave. I mean, if you have Balogun there and you have Edin Ketia also there in that number 9 spot, is good. But I mean, he feels that Gabriel Jesus will be back very soon. Probably will be out for about 3 weeks. He'll be back very soon, so he has to let Balogun leave because the boy wants to go and start playing. So let's see if that move to Inter Milan will materialize. Now the player wants to join Inter Milan. He excited Inter Milan fans over the weekend on Saturday by he posted on his Instagram watching Ronaldo playing in Inter Milan. So Ronaldo in Inter Milan, Inter jersey, playing on TV. I mean, he posted a video of him watching Ronaldo in Inter Milan jersey, which excited the Inter Milan faithful. They are believing and hoping that move will materialize for them. But Inter Milan will have to go up a bit with their bid. 26 million pounds is not going to work. They have to try and bid somewhere around 30 million pounds plus add-ons and see maybe if Arsenal will bite and then be enticed by that bid. But so currently that's the situation with Balogun and Arsenal and Inter Milan. Also at the camp of West Ham, now they've submitted a bid of 30 million pounds for Edson Alvarez. I told you yesterday in my episode that they are looking to sign Edson Alvarez to replace Declan Rice. Alvarez, a very talented Mexican international central defender from Ajax. He's been wanted by many clubs, but he's managed to stay. Unfortunately for him, no top club is looking for him to sign him this year, but West Ham are interested. He has agreed personal terms with West Ham. So I mean, it is believed that Ajax might let him go for 30 million pounds. So let's see how that move will materialize. Also at the camp of Ajax, whilst I'm there, let me finish with the Ajax stories. Ajax are looking to sell Mohamed Kudus to Brighton. Now the news coming in this afternoon, as I was about to get into this episode, was that Brighton have agreed a 40 million euros bid for Mohamed Kudus. Now, Kudus, remember, is wanted by Chelsea and Arsenal. The player favors a move to Arsenal because of Champions League football. But currently, Arsenal have not made any bid yet. They are trying to sort out departing players. Chelsea are also trying to decide whether they want to bid for Kudus or Ulisse from Crystal Palace. You know, they're torn between those two. So a bid from Chelsea and Arsenal is not gone through, and then Brighton, you know, agreed with Ajax while those two clubs were waiting. 40 million euros for Mohamed Kudus, but Kudus has yet to decide whether he wants to join Brighton. So, if personal terms between the player and Brighton and Hove Albion can be agreed, then Kudus might be a Brighton player next season. But currently, as things stand, 40 million euros has been agreed between Ajax and Brighton, but the player needs to agree personal terms for the move to materialize. Also, at the camp of Bayern Munich, now interesting news coming in yesterday evening is that Bakary Cisse, who is an agent of Sadio Mane, you know, remember Mane just left Bayern to Saudi Arabia club Al Nassr in a 34 million pound deal. The player obviously disappointed to be leaving Bayern. The move was, you know, embroidered in a lot of scandals about, you know, whether he left for footballing reasons or not. Now, his agent has come out in an interview with RMZ to clarify what exactly led to the player's departure from Bayern Munich. According to him, it is for non-footballing reasons. As to whether we are supposed to take his approach with a pinch of salt, I think, probably because, I mean, it was a bit emotional interview, saying that Bayern Munich did not understand why Sadio Mane, an African, was the highest paid player at the club. Now, that I don't understand why he would say something like that, because Bayern Munich offered that money to Sadio Mane. When they offered Sadio Mane that contract, which was somewhere around 30 million euros a year, they knew that he was going to become the highest paid player at the club, and he was an African. So I'm not sure Bayern Munich were really bothered by the fact that Sadio Mane was African. I think that what happened was that they felt that his form, as they anticipated, was not what they got. I mean, they felt that his form and then his issues with Leroy Sané, the agent also made a comment about Sané as part of the reason why Sadio Mane had to leave, because according to him, Leroy Sané racially abused Sadio Mane, which is quite interesting because Leroy Sané is also a black guy. Fine, I mean, he has a German mother who is white, but interestingly, Leroy Sané's father is also a Senegalese. And more interesting is the fact that Leroy Sané's father comes from the same village that Sadio Mane also comes from. So, to the fact that Sadio Mane was racially abused by Leroy Sané, it's kind of quite interesting. According to the agent, that is what happened, and that is why Sadio Mane reacted the way he reacted. And so, I mean, overall, the agent is saying that Sadio Mane left Bayern not because of his form, but because of non-footballing reasons, with the fact that Bayern felt that Sadio Mane's form wasn't good enough, and that, you know, he was an African player who is being paid the most in the team, and a lot of players in the team were not happy with that, you know, and a lot of things. So I don't know what to make about this interview. I mean, let me hear from you, comments. I'd like to hear comments from you about what you think Bakary Cisse's assertions as to why Sadio Mane left Bayern Munich. I mean, not footballing reasons, according to him. So I mean, I don't know what to make of this whole interview. So let's move on. Finally, my last story for today. Manchester United played a game. Before I talk about the game, I also want to add in a little bit about Manchester United. The fans of Manchester United, some fans, not all of them, a section of the fans called the 1958. Now, this is a section of the fans that are very radical, and they've been protesting the Glazers for years and years now. Remember, the Glazers bought United in 2005 for somewhere around 650 million pounds. And then, they bought with a loan, and riddled debts on the loan on the club. So the club has been paying of the loan for that buy since 2005. We're still paying interest on that loan. They came out in February of this year, December of last year, to say that they are looking for investment opportunities for the club, which could mean that they could sell the club outrightly, or they are looking to see some sort of minority investments in the club. So maybe they are willing to sell a stake of the club. Now, in February, they started the official bidding process, which was handled by the Rain Group, a merchant bank in the US, which was responsible for the sale of Chelsea as well. So, I mean, excitement among United fans was that the club was going to be sold. Now, they said that a deadline was going to happen in April where the club would be sold. We are still here. It's past April. We are about to start a new season, and the information coming out is that the Glazers are trying to see if they can, rather than sell the full club, fully, they are trying to see if they can get the club, someone investing in the club in a minority stake in the club or something like that, minority investment in the club. So the frustration around this whole bidding process and the sale of the club has led the 1958 group of Man United fans to try and demonstrate. Now, the news coming in is that they will demonstrate in front of Old Trafford, beside the Holy Trinity statue in Old Trafford, in our first league game against Wolves. Remember, we have Wolves at home on Monday evening, 8 p.m. the kickoff. They will demonstrate for an hour before kickoff in front of the statue at Old Trafford. So I don't know if this will be enough to let the Glazers go. I mean, the Glazers, these guys are very stubborn. They were in Houston when we went to play a game there. When some of the fans asked Malcolm Glazer was there. They asked him if he was going to sell the club, or like the fans shouted at him to sell the club, and he was seen laughing. So I mean, the guy is not interested in leaving. The brothers are not interested in leaving. I mean, let's see what happens. I'm not sure if this demonstration is going to cause the Glazers to sell the club. Now, coming back to the game against Lens, we played a friendly game against Lens. A lot of talking points on social media about Onana's howler. I mean, the mistake was that Diogo Dalot misplaced the pass. The Lens player saw Onana out from post, and he lobbed past him. Now, a lot of people have just started making silly assertions about the gods of football, on the side of David De Gea. I mean, what is that nonsense? What's all this nonsense about? David De Gea and that Onana is going to suffer whatever because of how we treated De Gea. I mean, it's absolute nonsense from a lot of people, even pundits on social media. It's not necessary. Onana is the Manchester United goalkeeper. He's going to be excellent in post. He has the philosophy of Ten Hag's playing from the back. He's going to implement that. Onana is going to be going out from post, to press high. That is how we are going to play. United fans should get, to get on board. This is how we are going to play. This is how we are going to play going forward. So United fans should just get with the program, get on with the program, and stop complaining about old news. De Gea is old news. I mean, Manchester United is not a charity case. We are a football club running on business and then on footballing philosophy. If you don't fit the philosophy we are playing now, you have to leave. And that is what happened to David De Gea. So let's move on from that. Onana made a mistake. I'm not even sure it was his mistake anyway. So, I mean, let's move on from that. Also, people talking about Mason Mount. Come on, Mason Mount he missed a telling opportunity, but come on, Mason Mount will come good. He's going to be a very important player for Ten Hag. So, I mean, people are already making conclusions about players who have not even played their first preseason, their first league game. We are yet to start the Premier League, and we are already judging players. It's too early to start judging players. Let us play the Premier League. Let us start playing the games, and then we can start making our judgments from there. It's too early. We have pundits talking about whether we should resend Mason Mount back to Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's fine. It's social media banter. I understand that. But, I mean, it's too early for us to start judging players in preseason. Also, Højlund was unveiled. I mean, for those of you who watched the game, you saw the unveiling. Very marvelous occasion. in beautiful scenes at Old Trafford. But the player is currently injured. The news coming in is that he's injured and that he will take 3 weeks to get into the team. I am targeting the game against Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford 3 weeks from now. A month from now. That is where the player might actually make his debut. So Hoyland will not start the season. And also that leads me to my final point of the game is that the front three, Garnacho playing from the left, Rashford as a striker, and Anthony playing from the right wing. It seems like that could be the starting front three for Manchester United in the game against Wolves. So if you look at the lineup, I think that only a few changes might come, but the front three will remain. The back four, I think Wan-Bissaka might probably come in for Diogo Dalot. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, it looks like Ten Hag was experimenting his starting 11 in the league game yesterday, so maybe there might be some changes. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that maybe Wan-Bissaka will replace Diogo Dalot, and that's just about it. Everyone in that game will start the league game against Wolves on opening day on Monday. So let's see how that goes. So thank you very much for staying with me. This is Pious Football. Like the video on YouTube. Now subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pious Videos, so that you can get notifications of every time I upload a new episode. And also I want to see your comments, guys. I want to see your comments. Whatever you are thinking about the transfer stories, the analysis I have made, bring in your comments there and let's analyze and let's talk. Let's get talking. This is Pious Football. Thank you for staying with me. Bye.